Michael, and I marched in the Corps in 1984, 5, and 6, and was on the staff in 87, 8, 2003, 4, and 6. And my role here is program coordinator.
My name is Scott Boerma. I marched in the Corps in 1984 and 85. We marched together. And I was on the brass staff when I aged out, starting in 86. Started arranging music for the Corps in the late 80s, and was the brass arranger through 2006. And I'm back here for my first year back with the Corps.
When Chris asked me to do this, he said, "What do you think we should do for a show?" And this was something that was always kind of in the back of my mind, that I always thought the Scouts had a Gene Kelly persona, especially the mid-70s through the 90s Guard generation, and liked these movies a lot as, you know, somebody who likes Gene Kelly movies, and thought it really fit the persona of the Corps. And I thought there was great musical material that had potential from the films.
Yeah, just, you know, in talking with KC early on about this, just the whole look of the Corps just really ties in with that very well. To us and our experience with the Madison Scouts just seemed like a very logical progression for the Corps. And musically, we spent a lot of time on YouTube and going through all kinds of different musical sources, and trying to come up with something that would capture that essence and that look and that style. And we're pretty excited that it's finally come together.
Our history was a great influence. We talked about shows we loved and moments we loved in the Corps' history, and, you know, from the 1982 Slaughter dance where the rifles put their rifle down and that personality coming out. Honestly, the show started out with some musical ideas, but we built a narrative, kind of a storyline, and then filled in the gaps. And through that, we threaded some nostalgia that I think will be evident to the fan base of yesteryear, but I think the present fan base will still feel the energy and the heart that it is.
The activity now has become very much about every element being equally important to the drama of the production. And so writing a show these days takes a massive amount of communication between a lot of very talented people with really interesting ideas to come together and put all these pieces together in a very complementary way in a whole show. And so you're going to be taken on a ride that isn't driven by just the music or just the drill or just the color guard or just the percussion. It's a combined effort that makes the story come together. And so although you'll hear sounds that sound like Madison Scouts, you'll see moves that look like the Madison Scouts, it's the Madison Scouts of the 21st century.
The design team was really diligent in the process of making this happen for the performers. Now the staff has taken over, and they're fantastic teachers, and everywhere you turn, everyone's doing their job, and there's just a great buzz here, and the performers are seizing the moment. So I think that all the planning that goes into it doesn't matter if there aren't performers with heart and teachers with brains and care about the kids, and all those things seem to be falling into place really well.
I've been excited because I get to work with guys I marched with, or guys I taught with, or guys I taught as members of the Corps, and a whole new generation of Madison Scouts staff and members that I don't know. And so it's been very fun to just be a part of what's been happening lately, but also kind of infuse some of the ideas of things we used to do. And so it's a very exciting time to bring all these elements together and these just great, talented people.
I think too that, you know, many years have passed since we did this, but the roots of it and the traditions and all those things, the values are the same, you know, many years later. And I think that's something that, you know, I said I've worked other places, but coming back here is like coming to the house you grew up in, and your room is the same, and it's the same in a lot of ways, but it's a different group of faces. But I know for me, being here, I look at them and I reflect on my experience by looking at them. I see other faces in them. It's really a cool thing. It's very heartfelt and personal.